Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the show with no name. I'm Theonie Roussianos, and this is...
I'm Adaire Palmer. How are you going, everybody? I think that's hilarious. Do the countdown every single time, about a second after it goes live. And we need to go back and have a look. That's all right. It's all good. It's all good. How are you going?
I'm going with the numbers. It's all good. It's all good. Really, really good. So welcome to this Thursday. What are we? The 26th of July. Far out. We've got... I don't know where the year's gone, and so cliche. We keep saying, the older we get, the quicker it all goes. But it's crazy.
So tell me, what's that behind you? You've got
here.
Oh, yeah, I know.
It's going on a wall.
This is
going on a wall.
So for those who don't know, this was gifted to us for our shoe business, so Tosh, by the lovely Leslie Fleuriu. So shout out to
meeting. I can't even move the right way.
And because we live at opposite ends of the town, we decided that we have to have custody of it like week about. So
we've got the joint custody.
Theonie's putting it on the wall. And the other one, what have you got there? That's
this here. So this. So let's manifest. I can't move the right way. I'm so confused. What a nutty.
You have to see if it looks okay on the... Oh, you have to put it in front of your face, I think, wouldn't you?
Well, then I can't see if it's on. Yeah, it's there. Got it? So this thing here, I just put the first 3 words and the first lot of numbers that popped into my head, and I was like, manifest the crap out of that.
That's gorgeous. That's so gorgeous.
So, anyway, we're here for more important things than, what's sitting on my wall and what's sitting behind me. We've got today a pretty inspirational woman that we're speaking with today. I've had the pleasure of, you've known Rachel for longer than I have, I think, as well, haven't you?
Actually, I haven't actually even met Rachel in real life, not that I can recall, but I actually have, I knew her husband, went to school with my daughter, so it's we all lived in the same small country town many moons ago out at Hamley Bridge, which is a really nice segue. Would you like me to introduce her?
Yes, but before you do, if you are watching, please, if you haven't read the blurb above this video, if we have cross-posted this video to other pages, so to Women in Business Adelaide, Jerry and Theonie Roussianos, everybody's other favourite GNT, any other pages, Adaire?
There's a couple of groups. I've put it into the Hamley Bridge Hub, and I've put it also into
pages were cross-posted to those. So if you're watching on anything other than mytimetv.live, click on the link above so that you come over to the original video. Otherwise, when you comment, we won't be able to interact with you live. If you're watching a replay, then it doesn't matter which page you're watching it on. But if you're watching us live now, 9:30 on Thursday, the 26th of July, click on the link above this video so you can be here and interact, because we love chatting with you and, sharing with you or you sharing with us your thoughts and any questions and so forth. So yes, now that's
a beautiful segue. We have Rachel in the lobby. Rachel Island is a mum of 4 who enjoys good food, good wine, and good people. Sounds like a gal after my own heart. She wrote a book, From Ashes to Eden, which describes the journey that Rachel and her family went through after the Pinery fire and the struggle to get their lives back on its feet, or the family life back on its feet after losing everything. She's also an avid mental health campaigner. She is being openly about, really keen to be open about the struggles about mental health to reduce, and what she wants to do, a real passion, is to reduce the stigma that's attached to mental health. Her team, the Twilight Stars, will be taking part in Coasttrek in September to help raise funds and awareness for beyondblue. She's going to be walking 30 kilometres along the Fleuriu Peninsula in South Australia. Hello, Rachel, and welcome.
Hi girls, how are you?
Hey, welcome, Rachel. Thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure to chat with you.
Yeah,
it's such an inspiration. So, I mean, you said before that you're quite happy to be sort of open about your story. And did it stem from the Pinery fires, or did it start before, or how? I don't know how to start this conversation. Perhaps you can help.
So my journey itself with mental health, it comes from a long time before the fire occurred. I went and it explained a little bit about that on the weekend, but you know, I didn't grow up in the best family situation. My family is fairly old-fashioned when it comes to mental health, and you don't speak about it because you're broken and you have a defect essentially. So it's something that you don't acknowledge, and I can't live like that. So, you know, after going through Pinery, it was more of an awakening saying people are struggling and mental health is debilitating, and we need to let people know that it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah. So just for a bit of context, Rachel, can you just explain what happened, what when you say Pinery, what that means, and
so
what happened and what happened to you, because there'll be people here who you haven't met before. So
for sure. So Pinery was a bushfire that occurred on the 25th of November in 2015. Started quite a way away from Hamley Bridge, beautiful old sleepy town. And in a very, very short amount of time, it consumed quite a lot. I forget the numbers because I don't have my notes in front of me, but there was nearly 100 structures lost and 2 lives lost. Yeah, it was pretty devastating. My husband's a CFS volunteer, so he was out fighting it while the children and I ran for our lives.
So out there trying to save other people's lives and potentially properties, because I guess the impact of the fires wouldn't have been known at that point. And meanwhile, he's not knowing what's going on in his own house.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Sorry, I'm not laughing.
Kids. I love my kids. I really do.
This is like reality TV, Rachel. You're fine. You know, we've had all sorts. We had Jerry show us his boobs. No, almost show us his boobs.
Gosh, I missed that. Damn.
That was hilarious. So don't, please do not. This is real life. This is what happens. And I think this is what it's. There's no gloss or fake here. It is what it is.
Motherhood.
Exactly. So not to distract from the seriousness of what we're actually talking about here.
No, it is serious. Mental health in any situation is serious, but after a massive incident like that of Pinery, I think it becomes more prevalent within the community, and not just for people that suffered total loss like my family, even people within the township themselves. Even now, a lot of them have a lot of that anxiety and that fear, especially when the siren sounds.
Yeah.
So it's real.
It is, because it's not something that you would ever think would happen. And being a resident of Hamley Bridge a long time ago, it's just it was incomprehensible to me. And I'm thinking, if you're living it, it must be the biggest nightmare that's just descended. And
it's definitely not something that you think is ever going to happen. And when you're stuck in that moment and it is happening, it is a total WTF feeling.
Yes.
So Roz has, hi Roz, thanks for joining us. And I have been bringing people's comments up as we've been going along. We've got a few people on today. Thank you for joining us, everybody. So 85,000 hectares were burned. So that's a huge loss.
In 4.5 hours.
And it's a little township. It's not, we're not talking, that's nuts. I remember that like it was almost yesterday, and I wasn't even there.
Yeah.
You were on the phone to me after, though.
Well, yeah.
So, you cop those emotions firsthand. So
that's what your friends are for.
Yeah, well, those that don't know, Theonie was one of our biggest supporters after the fact, and did some amazing things to support my family, and we'll always be grateful for your friendship and your support.
Don't make me cry.
Too.
I'm already feeling emotional today.
Don't read my book then, because that probably will too.
We so are going to read your book. Tell us.
I am reading the book. Don't say don't read the book.
Read
we are reading the book.
Yeah.
Tell us about your book, Rachel. Did you ever see yourself as a writer?
Oh, I've always loved writing. And I guess in younger years, when I was a bit naive, I thought, yeah, it's easy. You can just whack out a book, but it's not. So,
you lost Adaire at whack out a book.
Whoopsies. Yeah, no, it's good fun. It's a good journey, I think.
Yeah. So, what was the process behind writing the book? You started. Welcome back, Cotter.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the controls today. So
hang on, sitting on my foot.
And there we go. I hit the wrong button. I hit solo instead of show. The process behind writing what made you decide, okay, this is the book I need to write?
Sorry. It was actually when we were filming with Channel 9 for this time next year, because we'd been asked to participate in that. I thought it was a great way to document what we were going through. I never intended on publishing a book. I wrote it for myself and I wrote it for the kids. I wanted them to see the whole side of what we'd gone through, because I worked pretty hard to keep them sheltered as much as I could from the trauma.
So how old were your kids at the time of the fire?
Oh, now you're asking me to do maths. Well,
take away 3.5. Take away 3.5. Pardon?
I don't have to remember all their ages. So we had 8, 6, 4, and a 1-year-old.
Okay, so we're talking, kids at that age, what's important to them? Their toys. Really?
They're toys. They're things. My kids are cut from a bit of a different cloth family. They knew that their dad was out on the truck, and that was the scariest thing for them. And my middle son had just had his birthday not long before, and he lost the toy that he'd been pining for 4 months. So that was pretty devastating to him. My kids, no, darling, that's not you.
Who?
That's JJ. He's just throwing my train of thought now. But yeah, it was pretty different for them. They were really worried about their friends too, and what their friends were going through. And I guess that's the example we always set for them, is you've got to think of others as well.
And then this was also a massive community of people who lost everything. And I mean, if we want to get a little bit lighthearted about it, we'll talk about your Thermomix. But photos, everybody, we're not just talking, when one person's house burns down, you lose all your photos and videos of your family and stuff. You can grab stuff. You've got grandparents, parents, aunts, whatever, who may have copies of some of these photos that you can reproduce. But when you've got families in 3-4 different houses who have all lost everything, that's...
Our history got wiped out.
Everything gone. And, as much as you can get some of it, the stuff that may have gone up on Facebook, you can get down, but it's not the same quality photo because, they're lower res and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff you can't replace.
No, and that is, you completely bang on there. It's the sentimental stuff that was really, really hard for me, being that a lot of my family on my mum and dad's side are all passed. And like I said before, I come from a pretty dysfunctional family. So trying to reach out to them and get those photos was not an option for me anyway. So, and I have my parents' original wedding photos. So, all of that is gone, and it's not something that you can go to the photographer and say, oh, hey, do you still have the digital copies of those? But in saying that, we were actually lucky enough that our wedding photographer had kept our wedding photos, so she put them on a disc for us and gave it as a gift at Janet's memorial. So that was a really touching gesture.
Yeah.
There are some good people out there. So Roz said,
I lost my Thermomix. Yeah.
Now, the skinny Nicodine, she did something amazing for you as well after Nicolene from Skinny
yes. She has to be one of my biggest inspirations in life, and that was before Pinery as well. And she's a woman I always wanted to meet, and she gifted me a new Thermomix. And there's actually it's taken me nearly 3 years to figure out the right words to say thank you to Michael and Nicolene, but it's in the book, so I can't wait to hand that to them. And they were probably our first real heroes when it came to recovery, because they were there and they were warm, and it wasn't even about the Thermomix, it was about their presence.
Yeah.
Just the way they were around us and how they embraced the kids. It was amazing. These people I'd never met before that time. And they gave us so much. And I'm not talking material things. They breathed life into us when we needed it. And I'll always be grateful to them for that.
Yeah.
Hey, Penny.
So Penny's saying she remembers talking to you months later when you realised all your family's old linen was gone.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, that's another thing. Like my nan was another woman that I look up to always. And I lost all the tablecloths that she used to set on the table when we'd have a meal together. And she was very set in the ways that she did things, and such a beautiful lot of linen. They just don't make it like they used to now. So, yeah, when I realised that, Penny's usually the first person I tell about these things, and it was a bit soul-destroying for me.
So when you said that you were previously, your family didn't they had that stigma attached to depression, and I know my family did too. Very, very old-fashioned thinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when it's in the family, it really is difficult to deal with. And thank God that we've got a lot more contemporary thinking about that now, but some of that old thinking and the old stigma still is there. So can you share a little bit about your journey with depression and what's led you to doing this amazing walk that you're doing along the Fleuriu? So, that's all part of the same journey, isn't it?
It is. It all ties in. And the reason that I wanted to do Coasttrek so badly was because of what I'd been through. I think I underestimated the effect the fire and the aftermath would have on mental health, because, those that know me know I'm a pretty tough cookie. And I think that stems from the way that my family was with mental health, about you just got up and got on with things. And I did that for quite a while, and like I always say, I make no secret of the fact that it became too much last year, and I found myself in a heap on the kitchen floor, bawling my eyes out, with my beautiful little boy that's to the left of me stroking my face, telling me that it was going to be okay, and I couldn't understand what had gone wrong. I had been pouring from an empty cup for so long. I hadn't been taking care of myself or taking a break from what I was doing to drive this family back to a place of happiness. And I seen that as my job. And it had to happen because they weren't happy. So I seen motherhood is a big responsibility, and I felt like I was in charge of their happiness, but I'd forgotten about my own, and I'd forgotten about taking care of myself and filling my cup so I could be more effective in helping them grow their happiness and their contentment in life. So falling to that point on the kitchen floor, something had to give, and I realised at that point in time the shame that I had felt from feeling like I couldn't handle it all, and it was too much. And that was probably the point in my life where I went, I need to be the point of difference here. I need to share the ugly, because sometimes it is ugly, and it needs to be okay not to be okay, and there needs to be more help available for people that suffer major traumas or people that just need help. And if you see a friend that you can pick is kind of struggling, you need to reach out too, because quite often we don't know how to ask for help.
Sometimes you don't know you need help until it's there.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know. You know, it wasn't until that point on the kitchen floor, hyperventilating, going, what is happening? What is going on? Until my brain went, oh yeah, you're broken. You need to go get help. You know, you can't do this on your own. So
yeah,
it's pretty confronting when you reach that point, and I don't want someone else to feel like it's okay, it's allergies.
It is.
So, it's always allergies.
I'm allergic to the computer. It is. It's okay. I make no apologies. It's all good. It's all good. It's yeah, it is, and that's the thing. People need to know it is okay to not be okay. You know, we have once a year people make a point of on Are You Okay Day, of asking Are you okay, but it needs to be, you know, a daily thing.
You need to check in with your friends. You need, you know, your family, because like I'm pretty bloody good at hiding when things aren't okay, because I don't see it as someone else's problem. Like that's my burden to bear. And I think if Penny's still on here, she keeps me accountable, and she sees through my bullshit and calls me out on it, like I hope to do her. My cat's an idiot, and I have a cat. Yeah, she wants attention.
My next life,
yeah,
I'm coming back as a biotic cat.
Well, you know, she has personality, so yeah, like if it wasn't for Penny, and me being able to have that one friend that I could confide in without judgment. Like I have friends, I have a lot of friends, but Penny was the one that I felt like I could be honest with, because she kind of knew when I was bullshitting her and went, not buying it, what's going on? And then it really helped me try and, oh, thanks, Pen. She helped me keep that focus. Yeah, everyone needs a Penny. I wrote that in the book, but there's a lot that Penny doesn't know that's in the book about her.
and the idiot cat.
Come buddy.
So when you decided that you wanted to do the walk and raise funds for, well, let's go back to when you were on the floor hyperventilating, and at that point you decided to reach out and get help. Did you pick up the phone and ring Beyond Blue? Did you Google it? How did you? What was?
Sorry.
Oh yeah, the cat's the comic relief.
She's a peanut. Yeah, I did. I went on their website and looked at a lot of their information. Yeah, sorry, hang on one second, because she's really going to annoy me. Sorry, animal lovers. Or cat lovers. Yeah, I went on their website and looked into it a bit more, and then went to the doctor. It was really important for me to go to the GP and tell him that I wasn't okay, and then he talked to me a bit more about what Beyond Blue do, and that there are those points in people's lives where they feel like they can't handle things, and they do have that call line, which I didn't actually know about until I had lost my grip on sanity. Not
See, it wasn't
insane. It's just
it wasn't until
insane. I was just unhappy.
Yeah, it wasn't until the first live video that you shared about doing the trek that I realised Beyond Blue wasn't just for men, because I always thought Beyond Blue was for men and mental health, mental illness. I had no idea that it was for everybody, because all the advertising campaigns I'd seen, I understand why, because I do understand there is a difference. There is an issue with the stigma between men reaching out and women reaching out. There is a huge difference there, because women tend to talk more, and I get that. So because of their advertising campaigns, I thought, well, sometimes in the less serious situations, in a more serious situation, I think is when you tend to close up more because you can't be seen to be weak. But
exactly, and that's how I felt.
Yeah, and generally speaking, though, I thought Beyond Blue was just for men, and it wasn't until I watched your live, must have been a couple of months ago now, where you started talking about the trek and you were doing some training. So you do learn things on Facebook, but, important stuff, because I would have never referred a woman on to Beyond Blue who needed help.
Yeah, and look, and I'm glad that you know that, because it is. I mean, like I said, there was so much that I didn't know about Beyond Blue until my GP had told me. And you know, at that low point, it was still really hard to go, okay, I'll go talk to them. And to be honest, I never made that call, because once I had admitted to myself that I wasn't okay, I was lucky enough to have a couple of women that were local to me. One lived right across the road from us, and they both picked me up. Like, these women were amazing. They breathed life back into me, but they had to wait to that point for me to be completely shattered and have nothing left to give for me to go, yeah, okay, I'm okay. I'll let you help me. So
yeah,
it's really hard. It's this battle between being okay and not being okay, and asking for help and allowing someone to help you is really hard. And I think that's what a lot of people don't actually understand, is that it's such a difficult journey.
But you've turned that into something positive, and I think that's what it's like. You're going through. So most people would do that. They go through it and then they move on. But you're choosing to come out and write the book and do the walk and share your experiences, which I think is amazing, Rachel. It's really admirable that you've done it, because you're going to help so many people. So many people.
You know, and if I help just one, I win, you know.
Yeah.
exactly.
And to me,
and so do they.
Just yeah. And just actually being that voice that says it's not what it seems when you're on the other side of the fence. Like, you see this, you know, I know how I felt after This Time Next Year aired, and they talked to us a lot about showing the journey, and they didn't. They said, you know, the sub story about how we lost our home, and then ta-da, we built a new home. And it wasn't like that. There was so many struggles, and to me it was a no-brainer to share that, because we'd already been on that public platform. I'm pretty tough, pretty thick-skinned. I can take the criticism that I know is going to come, but it will be from people that won't understand what we've been through, won't understand the journey, or just don't want to because they don't have open minds. Someone has to stand up and say, this journey is hard. You need to have compassion for these people, and it can't just be for 2 weeks after the fact, because it's when you hit that time where you've rebuilt and you're trying to get everything back on track and it gets quiet. Those are dangerous times.
Yeah. And
I'm hoping to change that.
There's part of the grieving cycle, isn't it? That's built into that we don't.
Yeah, there is.
Humans, and it's like, oh well, they're fine now. It's 6 months later, it's 12 months later. Why are they still feeling like that? And there is that mentality, whether you lose everything, all your possessions, or you lose a loved one, or whatever. Or
you just have a real. Those stages of grieving come in at every single facet.
Yeah.
A person that endured that day, and any day like it, like, you know, it is what it is, and you go through the denial. What if? You go through the anger. It's real, and people need to acknowledge that, because
then there are different things afterwards. You know, you can't. There's no time frame that you have to deal with grief. You know, there are no boxes. People say, you know, even when you lose someone, people say, oh, you know, aren't they over it yet? You never get over this stuff. It's about learning to live with what's happened.
And I'm glad you've said that, because that's the one phrase that I hate people saying, and I've heard it so many times, is, aren't you over it? Get over it. Oh, but you've got this, but you've got that. Don't diminish someone else's journey. Don't take away from the pain and suffering they're feeling, because that is old school thinking, and that is not embracing. Like, for me, that is saying it doesn't matter what you went through. You should be fine right now because you have a pretty kitchen, and that's not right. That's not okay. And it doesn't work like that. Yeah, I had a pretty kitchen, but I missed my 40-year-old banger stove that could, you know, I knew where the hot spots were, and had to adjust to a new one that I didn't like. And I wasn't happy, because every morning I looked out that window. It wasn't my home.
Yeah.
So,
it's
different. It's looking at it from a different angle.
How can we support you?
you can jump on to our fundraising page and donate. Any donation above $2 is tax deductible, and the girls and I would really appreciate that, because each one of the four of us have been touched by mental health at some time, and you know, whether it be postnatal depression, anxiety, PTSD, or the effects of after suicide. You know, we're all pretty passionate about raising money and awareness and reducing that stigma. So jumping on and donating will be one of the best things that anyone can do, so that Beyond Blue can continue to provide these resources.
Beautiful. So just type in blue in the comments and it will go directly into your inbox. You'll get a link to the fundraising page where you can donate and help this amazingly worthwhile cause. Rachel, we're out of time. That half an hour just goes. You'll have to come back. We'd love to map your journey. When your book is launched, we want to have you back.
A few weeks away.
We would love to.
Absolutely. I'd love to come back.
I'd like to buy a signed copy, please.
And
let's just have lunch and I'll sign it for you there and then.
Perfect. We keep saying we're going to do that and we haven't done it.
It's because I live 400 kilometres away.
We'll come to the Riverland. No, we'll come to you. So, Rachel, it'd be worth the drive, absolutely. So, so what we'll do is we'll have you back, and when you're doing the walks on the Fleuriu, if you're planning on actually doing any live broadcasting, we'd love to beam you in, Scotty, if we can manage it. I don't know when or where or how it's going to work, but we'll see if we can do a special episode on My Time TV for the show with no name to have you in. But I have to run. You guys can keep chatting if you want, but or we can wind this up and have you back. I think we'll do that. So.
Rachel, don't go anywhere. Adaire's got to go, but I'll have a quick chat with you after we finish the broadcast.
Yeah, sure.
But Adaire, I know we really do have to go now. Adaire has to be somewhere. So thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in and for inviting your friends, sharing, because this really is an important message that needs to get out there. And, you know, here's another example of how one person really can make a big difference.
Oh.
Thank you for sharing this story and your gift. It's beautiful. Thank you, Rachel.
And we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.